together in the church. And my presentation today, Ladies Fellowship, that's the group that's come out to watch me today. You guys have donated blankets to this organization. And so my topic for today is MCC, Mennonite Central Committee. Now, my 4 topics that I'll be speaking about today are the history, MCC's history, the thrift store, 10,000 villages, and where MCC serves. And now this map is a depiction of this is going into the history now. It's a depiction of the Mennonites, Ukrainian Mennonites in Russia in the time of 1921. And 3 points that I'd like to make, and then I will go into a little bit more detail about the history. So, MCC was founded in Chicago, Illinois, September 20th, 1920. Now, they were first going to start out as just helping with the Ukrainian Mennonites, but it ended up that they helped not only the Ukrainian Mennonites, but everybody in Russia. And so now for a little history. So over 100 years ago, Russia was in a revolution, and there was heavy taxes and a typhoid epidemic. So there was 4 Russian Mennonite men that went out looking for help in Western Europe and North America. And so Canada and U.S. responded immediately, and so MCC was then founded. So there's 3 volunteers that went out, and they were going to go to Constantinople, but there was trouble, and so delivery was delayed. Then delivery was delayed again, and so the delivery was delayed, and there's nothing they could do about it. The people were crying out for help. They were starving, and they were eating basically anything they could find. Then about 2 years later, in 1922, Soviet Union decided to allow the Canadian and U.S. Mennonites in. And so the agreement, though, was that they would help all the Russians, not just the Ukrainian Mennonites. And so a relief kitchen was created in Rosenwell Consorta Colony on March 16, 1922. And so locals helped with the relief kitchen of 802,000 people that came on a daily basis for the food to come eat. And the Canadian U.S. Mennonites wanted to do more than just help with feeding them. They wanted them to help learn to feed themselves. And so then delivery was brought in for livestock and machinery as well. So then in 1923, Russia had a decent crop, and the MCC, Canada and U.S. MCC was allowed to leave the country. Today, they are in Russia, though, partnering with the locals in helping with displaced people. Now, in this picture here in the middle, you will see that that's a disaster relief situation in Saskatchewan. And so MCC helps along the lines of poverty, oppression, and injustice. They help to build bridges, building people and ideas, despite political, social, or economic situations. And as you can see there, MCC is known for its fair trade. We will talk about 10,000 villages in a few seconds. And then MCC's worldwide relief sales and service projects are funded by people's donations and relief sales, and of course, over half the funds go straight into the field. MCC focuses its development on education, justice, peace, and fair trade. So, as mentioned earlier, they help with the disaster relief situation, and they focus their efforts on economic and social policies. Now, the MCC thrift store. So a description of the store is that they sell affordable items, household and clothing items, And a more description of the product is that they sell family clothing and accessories, household furnishings, antiques and collectibles, and new items from recycled material. Now, there are 60 MCCs in Manitoba alone, 106 MCC stores in Canada and the US, and of course the closest one we all know is Brandon, Manitoba, and of course they can be found on Facebook. Now their website is thrift.mcc.org. Now, this is just a picture. I had a really lot of fun doing this. I just got some off of the Facebook page of the MCC thrift store, and of course the Facebook page I think is to help younger people, maybe older people too, because I'm sure there's lots of older people that go on, but you know, to be able to connect with different generations. And so this is the thrift store in Brandon, and also it's just a challenge to you and to me to, as I know that some of you do or have gone out to help with the volunteering at MCC thrift store. But as we know, COLA has every third Friday, and so that's my challenge to either you guys tell other people about it so they can volunteer. I've worked at it before and I've enjoyed it. You get to do a lot of shopping, so it's a lot of fun. So now to 10,000 villages. So 10,000 villages provides vital fair income to people in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. So their products are handicrafts, and of course there are stories behind them, and the artists are either unemployed or underemployed. And so 10,000 Villages buys products from over 100 artists in more than 35 countries. And then by doing this, they improve the lives of others on a daily basis. And they are also on Facebook. Those frames I found on Facebook, I thought they were a cute little tidbit to add to my PowerPoint. And their website is 10,000villages.ca, and they can, like I mentioned before, can be found on Facebook. And now my last topic. So where are some of the places where MCC serves? So because of MCC's goals and what they stand for, there's also opportunity to serve abroad. And as mentioned earlier, health, education, and peace are some of the areas in which MCC concerns himself with. MCCcanada.ca is the link, and if you click on that with my PowerPoint and you click the link to the internet, you will get straight to that website. So, where does MCC serve? Syria and Iran. So, war rages in this Islamic state, and families leave their home and finding another dwelling in another town. But if the war follows them, they get up and move again. So there is always need for food, water, shelter, education, jobs, and friendship. Now, one more locally is they have arrived for refugee in Ontario on October 3rd. And 6 places of where the funds are distributed are as follows. People in poverty, refugee resettlement, Indonesia's refugee, material resources, low German newcomers, and restorative justice. And these are all local programs for the Ontario people. And now Latin America, in particular Honduras. So there's a lot of violence in Honduras, and there's a lot of afraid people, but then there are a lot of people who are reaching out back into the community. So MCC has created a program called the Peace and Justice Program Project, which involves training volunteers in the teaching of forgiveness, self-esteem, self-respect, education, conflict resolution, and human rights. So the idea is they then teach it to 4th and 5th graders, and then the idea is that they will learn and choose differently when it comes to violence. And then there was others there that on their website that talked about where they serve, but this is the last one that I picked, and that was the Zea's baby home in Zimbabwe. And there's orphans under the age of 5. There are approximately 20 at a time. MCC funds the nutritional and medical costs, along with funding for the staff. And that is the end of my presentation, and so I want to thank you for coming out once again. I enjoyed doing this presentation. It was a lot of fun, but I got to learn a few things about the history. I didn't know the history, even though I've grown up in a Mennonite community, and that sounds bad. But I did enjoy doing the research for it and learning more about it. And so again, I just implore you guys to help others, whether it's with this organization or with something